Hey guys, so let's talk about iOS 17.2.1 and iOS 17.3 because Apple has had, I want to say, an interesting couple of weeks to say the least. A few weird issues with betas. iOS 17.3 was sort of a disaster release for the first beta of 2024. And I want to talk about a few recurring issues with iOS 17.2.1 as well, some that I've experienced myself and some coming directly from your feedback. So let's go ahead and dive right into this video. So I want to start off with iOS 17.2.1. Now this software update was sort of interesting because it was released on December 18th, which was the week leading to the Christmas week last year, which typically Apple does not release any software updates leading towards the holiday season, but they did. And the one thing that they mentioned with the iOS release notes is that this software will fix bug issues within the iPhone. So as you can see right here, Apple says this update provides important bug fixes and it is recommended for all users. However, outside of the US, if we take a look at the Japanese release notes, it's a little different. So if we translate this translates to the same thing. However, it also adds that this software update will fix a few issues with the battery. It will address an issue with the battery that could cause the battery to drain quickly. So let's go ahead and click continue here and let's translate to English. There it is. You can see that it mentions that this will address an issue where the battery may drain quickly under certain conditions. So this is interesting. Outside of the US, it will address issues with batteries, but in the US, Apple makes no mention of this, which is quite interesting to me. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is cell service. With the latest iOS 17.2.1 and even 17.2, I've experienced multiple cell service outage randomly on my iPhone. So typically places where I have cell coverage, I would experience my iPhone completely disconnecting from the cell service for about 30 seconds or so. And this has happened multiple times with iOS 17.2 and 17.2.1. So far, iOS 17.2.1 is a weird update to say the least. And the last thing I continue to hear is that when users enable low power mode with this software update, the iPhone starts acting weird. Now, I haven't experienced this issue, but some users, and I've seen some reports, where the iPhone will start freezing and frame freezing and not performing the way it should with low power mode. It sort of cripples many users' phones when enabling low power mode on the iPhone running iOS 17.2, 17.2.1, and even the latest 17.3, which I want to talk about now. So shifting my attention over to iOS 17.3, and this one was a disaster of a beta release to say the least. Now, Apple released iOS 17.3 Beta 2 on January the 3rd, so last week. However, a few hours later, Apple ended up removing the software update because many reports and many users continued to report that their iPhones were being sent into a constant boot loop, which means you couldn't reboot your iPhone, it would just be stuck on a boot loop. And Security Research Rambo has actually discovered that the main issue was happening on devices with the back tap feature enabled on their iPhones. So if you have that feature enabled and you try updating to iOS 17.3 Beta 2, it will send your iPhone into a constant boot loop. Now again, Apple removed the software. However, they did not release the software again with a fix, and it's quite surprising to see that Apple is still waiting to release a fix for this developer beta. However, they did release a public beta for iOS 17.3 Beta 2, and that's currently out there right now. But for registered developers, iOS 17.3 Beta 2, if you did install the software like I did on this device, as you can see right there, and you did not have the back tap enabled, then you should be fine. The latest build number, there it is, 21D5036C. That way, you know exactly if you're running the latest beta for iOS 17.3. Now, this upcoming week, we can expect Apple to release another beta for iOS 17.3. Maybe they'll re-release of Beta 2 for developers, or they'll just call it Beta 3. We'll have to wait and see. But so far, iOS 17.3, the latest beta, was definitely a major disaster of a release, and I'm surprised that Apple has yet to address the issue for developers, and they just left it the way it is. Hopefully, we'll see another beta as early as tomorrow, Monday, January the 8th. Now, I want to talk about one more thing in regards to iOS 17.3, and that is a new splash screen when you go into the camera of your iPhone. If you try to capture spatial video and you tap into the spatial video options, you now get a quick description how spatial video works, how you should shoot spatial video on your iPhone, and the amount of storage that it will be taking from your device when you capture 3D or spatial video on your iPhone. This is the actual splash screen right there. It is, and I wanted to share that one with you guys. But yeah, interesting couple of weeks to say the least. Apple releasing iOS 17.2.1 a week leading towards the holidays with a few issues and interesting, I want to say interesting release notes for different parts of the world, and iOS 17.3 major disaster release for the beta here early 2024. But we'll see what happens this upcoming week. Stay tuned for my follow-up video on iOS 17.3, the next beta. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.